Welcome to Spartans at the Spice here, our first edition with USC Upstate head men's basketball coach Marty Richter here joining us there. And first of all, welcome to the Sugar and Spice.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Now, before you leave, if you want to take it to go or whatever, your meal's on me today.
Okay,
that's all right. Do you like roast beef?
I do like roast beef.
The roast beef aplenty is my favorite thing.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is the grilled, marinated roast beef sandwich with crispy onion rings and french fries.
Ooh.
So that is my favorite. But before our season's over, we'll be here the next 2 months. I'll challenge you to try a lot of different things on the menu here today.
Yeah, you know what? I'm looking around the room and I see the Dolphins jacket on. I see Ohio State Buckeyes hat. You know, and I just look around. And I just, you know, when you come into restaurants, I always look for sport teams.
Look over your left shoulder.
I got a little Upstate there to the left of me. No, but you know what I mean? I always kind of look around. Like, I like going to restaurants and seeing what people are wearing. You know what I mean? What sports teams are wearing and who they represent a little bit.
Well, this has been a trademark or tradition in Spartanburg. I got them a jersey for the Broom football team that I broadcast since the 1960, and they informed me that they broke ground on this restaurant in 1960.
Did they?
So
really?
that's symbolic of 60 years, but they have been here for that long. I've been eating here since I was 5 years old.
Oh, have you really?
Yes.
I've driven by this place 10, 15 times now being in town, this short stint. And it reminds me of, you know, back in my hometown of an A&W rugby.
Okay.
Like, you used to be able to order right outside at your parking spot and people would come out to you. I don't know if they do that now here or not.
They used to, they don't anymore.
Yeah, that's what ours was in my little town that I lived in. And we loved it.
This is a Greek restaurant.
Oh, it is?
It is Greek. Two Greek men started it. Their sons now are running the restaurant, but it has been a tradition. They've got souvlaki and all kind of good things like that here. So that we'll have a lot of good things to eat, and hopefully we'll have a lot of good, deep conversations here.
There we go.
All right, let's start out right now. We're going to talk a little bit about how your season's gone. So do you feel like you are maybe a little bit ahead, a little bit behind? You went into the season with no experience, no players, and everything was new. What is your feeling right now? You just started conference play. What is your feeling right now?
Well, you know what? I like where we're at. You know, my record's not great. You know what I mean? I look at it, I tell my parents, I say, your record's not great, but I like our team. I like that they're willing to learn, willing to work hard every day. The thing that we're behind schedule on is that I thought we would have a couple more guys be able to just step up and make some more winning plays. And it takes time. Coach, you know this much. It takes time to be in situations that we've been in this year to be able to rise up to the occasion and make a winning play. And a winning play is not always making a shot. It's sometimes coming up with a tough stop, coming up with a rebound, getting that loose ball. But that's where I would say we're behind schedule, because I thought we would have more guys in tune with that. I think if we were playing 30 minutes, our record would be different. And that's part of where we're at right now is there's 10 more minutes in that game that we kind of struggled with. And it could be in the front half, could be in the middle of it, could be wherever. We just have a mental block of getting over. I mean, it happened in our game the other night against Winthrop. I mean, we played for 31 minutes straight. Decent basketball. Not great basketball, not bad basketball, just good enough to win basketball. Like, we were making enough plays to combat them. Then we lost our minds for 4 or 5 minutes, and the game went like that. But not even 4 or 5 minutes, 4 or 5 possessions.
Wow. Well, that's the first thing I'm going to get on my soapbox right now is records. I hate records. I was the all-time winningest coach at Bowling Springs High School, but I hate records. I don't think it's fair to judge coaches by records. I know some of my best coaching jobs that I felt like I did we didn't have a good record.
Yeah.
And some of my best records, I don't think I did a good job with the talent I had.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it's fair for y'all, because you've got to, and it's a part of the game, you've got to play these games that are pretty much mismatched to support your program, the money games.
Yeah, like in our situation, like I told someone the other day, like, I said, this is what the deal is. We played 6 buy games. They're like, what? I said, yeah, I had to raise $430,000 for money, which is part of my job. You know what I mean? And I gotta help. It's not just for my program, it's for all the programs, which is you gotta do. You gotta help everybody. We don't have football that goes out and does that, so we have men's basketball is the biggest money grab that we can do. And you go into these games, what's been tough with us in those games is not the game, it's the game after that. And you get injured, you get beat up in those games. And those games are so physical because they got size at every position. They're just bigger. And that's part of it. And you got to figure out a way to combat that a little bit. But it breaks your bodies down. And that's why, like, the game after that game, we've had issues. I mean, like, we got done with Wake Forest. Well, we played really well against UNC Wilmington, but we ran out of gas. Well, 2 days early, we played Wake Forest. We played, I can't remember, we played Iowa on the Tuesday, the 26th, I think it was. Right after that game, we flew back, and then we played North Carolina. First half, fine. By the second half, you get worn down, and you have guys. We haven't been able to combat that. That's tough. I think that's what people don't get when you look at people's schedules is how do you deal with that? And you have to play. I mean, we have to. We have to do it for our institution. We have to do it for, softball, baseball, golf. We have to help everybody, and that's part of the job. And when you do that, you're going in, and it's uphill battle. But you want to get out of there unscathed physically too, and that's what's tough sometimes. And that we've seen that.
And if you stop and look, and I did this just the other day, there are some really good coaches in the Big South Conference.
Oh, hey.
And over half of them have losing records on their coaching resume. I look at that, and that's not fair.
No.
That's not fair at all.
Well, this is what you got is you look around our league, the teams that have going in a 500 or above record typically going into league play, they haven't had to play as many bye games. And that's tough. That's their advantage. That's their institution is at that point in their career. And when you look at Presbyterian and get ready to play, they played I think 4 bye games, which is a lot. And you get beat up in those games, and it's tough. You get beat up, and sometimes it hurts you in the next one. And that's what people don't always understand. It's not an excuse, but it's one of those deals where you're just like, I haven't been on this side in a while. At Drake, we were able to buy teams. So I've been on the other side of it, and you just saw, you get to buy them, you get that luxury, and you get to play from ahead. And when you're playing in our spot at our institution, you have to have a lot of things go right on those nights. Like when we played Wake Forest, we had a lot of things go right that night. We were squeezed in between them playing one high major to another high major, and we were kind of an afterthought. And that's good. I mean, that happens in sports, as we both know. But you got to have that more times than not to have a favorable opportunity in those games.
Okay. So you now have gotten into conference play.
Yep.
You have survived the tough part of like that thing. But what is the mentality now? Because when that takes a toll on those kids when they're getting pretty much at times demoralized in those games. Now to get to start over 0-0, and I used to call these are the money games now for y'all.
Yes.
Because these are the ones that really matter though. What is your frame of mind going into that?
You know what you have to do in the month of November and December is you got to stay positive with your guys. and you got to keep building on their individual skills within the team concept. And that is the most important thing in this whole deal is that. Because like when you look at it, if you stay true to who you are as a coach, you can get better and you can have an opportunity during this time of the year. But it's tough for these kids. It is. Mentally, it's tough for them. I mean, won't make any bones about it. It's tough for these guys because you go through the uphill battle because you don't know. Like kids don't know what they don't know. They don't understand. Sometimes you go to South Carolina. We played South Carolina. South Carolina's a really good team. They have a good record, but they're just so big and physical. They don't realize how big and physical they are. Oh, yeah, he's so big as me. Well, he's got about 35 pounds on him. He's just big. And that's the tough thing. And mentally is the tough thing. You brought it up here a second ago. That's the mental aspect of it is really tough for these kids and getting them in the right frame of mind now when we go to conference play.
And that's the thing I've wondered because you've got so many guys on your team this year that have never played basically D1 level.
Yes.
They come straight from high school making a transition or they played at a lower level and now they get thrown out there to some of the best athletes in the country they're going to have to see.
Yeah. It's tough. It's a fun environment. Hey, my guys, they enjoyed NC State opening night. They enjoyed Wake Forest. They enjoyed Virginia Tech. They enjoyed going to Iowa. They enjoyed South Carolina. Oh, and we went to ETS Super Bowls. So those environments were fun. They were great environments, great learning opportunities for our guys. And that's what it's about. It's about getting them opportunities to grow and learn. I mean, I think on Ken Palm, we're 366 out of 366 on Division I experience. Still.
I believe it.
You know, and that's part of it. And people, you know, I always get asked, why'd you take so many guys who gone to... Well, it's tough to get Division I experienced guys now because of how the market is. And people don't realize that. How the market is tough. And so you gotta, like, we're getting better. To come all the way back around to your question, we're getting better. I'm seeing upside with the guys. I see them still working their tails off every day. Now we gotta be able to put 40 together, and we gotta be able to figure out, excuse me, how to close a game.
Okay. One thing that I have enjoyed watching with your team and your situation, my first high school job I took, I inherited a team that won 3 games in 3 years. They were embarrassed to go to what used to be the mall in town here in Spartanburg and wear their letter jackets. They were everybody's win on the schedule.
Yeah.
And I came in, and we did not have very many good athletes. And my approach, what we did was, I couldn't teach them to be a great athlete. I couldn't teach them to be 6'7", 6'8", post up on the block. But I could teach everyone how to shoot.
Yeah.
And we run what you're doing, the 5 open offense. We double screen down. I'm going to bring my playbook. I'll let you see it sometime with that.
Okay.
But we double screen down and had them coming up. And what we tried to do was first of all, these teams that had these big monsters in the paint and make them come out. And I told my 5-man, you've got the green light. The top of the circle is the easiest 3 you can make.
Oh, that's a great
And we taught them how to shoot that one to make these people come out and play them.
Yeah.
And we spread the floor, ran our spread offense, motion. We penetrated. If we couldn't take it all the baskets, somebody helped us. We kicked it out and shot the 3. We led the state of South Carolina in 3-point shooting. We're still in the record book for 162 threes in one season.
Oh, that's a lot.
That we made is still in the book. So we couldn't play anybody man to man because they're going to find if you only that one guy that couldn't cover a speed bump in the parking lot. They got to always find that guy who he is. So we had to play zone. predominantly most of the time, and just kind of go from there. And my very first year, we knocked off Spartanburg High School, my alma mater, where I went first time ever being in school history.
Really?
And they told me when I took the job, because I was at Gorman High School here in town. It was assistant head coach. I said, I said, when do I have to let you know when I offer my job? I said, I need to think about it. They said, what's there to think about? I said, I'm the coach in waiting at Gorman right here.
Yeah.
And I said, I've got a pretty good situation.
Yeah.
And the superintendent told me, he said, if you could ever win 8 games in 1 year, he said, you could go anywhere in the state you wanted to. And so the light clicked when I took it. I put that in my mind right there. That my first year there, we won 12. We went 12 and 14, and missed layup for making the state playoffs.
Okay.
And the phone started ringing for them. And then after that, I only had 2 seasons that I didn't win at least 8.
Yeah.
And went from there. But you're kind of in the same situation, right there, to where you don't really have a post-up game. But I like what you're doing with your offense. That it's so similar and brings back good memories to me.
Well, you know what? Like, if you can get guys to pass, cut, and move guys around on that perimeter, it's tough. But you got to be able to make enough reads. Like, I think our guys have gotten better, but they still have flaws, just like everybody else. But they're overcoming those quicker because of the reps they're getting in games.
And the fun thing about what you're doing too is everybody is a part of the offense.
Everybody. Yes.
Everybody has an opportunity to score.
Yes.
Keeps everybody happy. You can use a lot of players, and that's why I think what you're doing is great right now.
Yeah.
It brings back a lot of good memories, and I enjoy watching you guys play.
Well, that's good. Our guys play hard. I mean, that's the one thing I can say. I get that, the opposing coaches all say, teams play really hard, Marty. I'm like, they have to. Because when you're kind of a little bit undersized, you always got to play with a little bit more grit and grime to you. And they do. They're fun to coach. They're fun to be around. They're a joy to see grow. That's what I've enjoyed.
Okay. All right. I want to talk to you a little bit with PC.
Okay.
All right. The game coming up there. I've got that game on TV.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you quiz me right here. I've done my scouting report on PC
all right.
right now. Any players, you can ask me. First of all, I watched them, scouted them against South Carolina. It was one of the games I saw them play, and for all practical purposes, they were in position to win. With 7 minutes to go and ran out of gas.
Ran out of gas. That's what happens when you play those teams. And they did a great job in that game. They just ran out of gas. The size of South Carolina they're so big and strong.
And they have now lost Pierce, was their big man, who was 6'10".
Yes.
Hip problems, he's done for the year right there. The only inside player they've got now, basically, is Scott, is your only really threat down in the post.
But Scott's a good player. Scott is strong physically. He looks, you know what he looks like? He looks like a tight end.
Scott is 6'8", 250. He is an inside post presence, transfer from Georgia State, averaging 8.4 points a game, 5.6 rebounds a game. He's got 95 rebounds, leads the team. He is shooting his weakness is he shoots 46% from the free throw line on 24 out of 52. And field goal percentage, he's shooting 57% at 59 out of 100.
He does a good job of knowing who he is. He hasn't taken the 3 all yet. 0 for 0. Which a lot of times kids don't know who they are and they'll jack up 15 or 20 of them, be 2 of 15, have 13 wasted possessions.
And they'll wonder when they're standing out there, but I was open. You're open for a reason because you can't make it.
You can't make it. Scott does a really good job. I think he does a really good job in the young man, Peterson. Number 14.
All right, Peterson.
Long, rangy athlete. He plays their backup 5. He does a good job for them. I think they complement each other very well.
They've only got really 2 players on the team that are listed as forwards. Yes, everybody else is a guard.
Well, like the Stewart kid's listed as a guard, but he's a forward. He's a small forward to slash power forward. He's at 3'4". And they got the Wilson kid. I know he's listed as guard, but he's more of a forward type of one. And they got King, who's listed as a guard, but he's more of a forward. Like they're more 4-3s. So like that's the crazy thing with the websites now. Everybody's listed as a guard. Everybody is.
They do. Like they're
Everybody
a big
does.
guard.
Yeah,
Really
everybody's a big guard. Everybody says they're a big guard. Well, yeah, you are a big guard. Like Mr. Dean's a big guard.
Yep.
Well, he's got 14 assists, 38 turnovers. He's not a big guard. He's a forward. Coach, he's a forward. Like Braylon Garcia is listed as, I don't know, I think I list him as a guard too. He's a forward. He's 14 assists, 38 turnovers. Like they're forward. Like guys, that's why that's when you look at it. It's like, yeah, they do. They don't have any. But they do. Like the Stewart kid's really good. Lefty, versatile scorer, second leading scorer on the team, good player. The Mincy kid, I really like the Mincy kid. I think he's a good guard.
He's got a scorer's mentality.
Yes.
I put down excellent penetrator, 15-3 a game, 2.8 rebounds a game, shoots 82% from the free throw line, leads the team with 78 assists. He's got a 39% three-point shooter, and he's got 28 steals.
Yeah.
And he sells popcorn during halftime.
Oh, man, he does a great job of this. Like, you'll watch him on Wednesday night, he'll get that ball on the left wing or the left slot. If he drives it 10 times, he's driving it 9.5 times right. The other half time is to the left because he's got forced to and he shoots his pull-up. He wants to get right. And he does. And he does a great job of, I don't know what the number you said on his free throw attempts he had, but he leads the team in the hit free throw attempts.
He's 58 out of 70 from the line.
Yeah, he leads them in free throw attempts. He goes and he throws his body into you very, very well. Does a really good job of that. And draws contact to get fouls. He does a good job of that. He's a good player. And he can pass. Like, he comes off, he would have more assists if the guys are shooting really good for him, but he makes the proper decisions coming off pick and roll. He can throw a shake pass behind him. He can throw a pocket to the big rolling. He can throw a flip up to the big rolling for the lob. He can throw the skip to the corner. Like, he can make all those reads, and his last reads he'll throw the one across pass, but that's a read that you typically don't want to read. That's your last read. He doesn't throw that a lot. He makes those reads, the other reads, so well. He does a good job. He is a guy that if you don't have a lot of hand activity on him, he's going to cause you problems.
And against South Carolina, I was having trouble matching up with him.
Oh, he got to his
gave them
spots.
fits.
He got to the spots all game long, and that's the thing. Like, he was able to get to where he wanted to go.
And I'm going to make a prediction, and it's probably not fair right here. This is what I hate about good players in the Big South, that somebody's going to snatch that kid up. They're going to offer him a lot of money.
Oh, they're going to offer him a lot of money.
And whether I hope not for Quentin's sake that doesn't happen.
Oh, I hope not either. For his sake, I mean, for the league's sake, you don't want that, but it goes on everywhere. It's crazy. Like, I had my assistant do this for me. He just gave me one quick little ounce of numbers. I asked him, and he said, I want you to do this. I want you to look at the Power 5 conferences. You should go through each roster. So it's basically 75 teams. And Power 4 plus Big East. And see who's transferred in. Out of those transferred in, how many of them are playing the same amount of minutes or more from their last institution? And he hasn't got me the total breakdown, but he said, Coach, there's 150 transfers in. 23 of them are playing the same amount or a little bit more. I said, okay. He didn't give me anything else. I said, I know 3 of them. Because what do you mean? I said 3 of them were with me last year at Drake. One's Connor. One's Connor Enright, the starting point guard for DePaul, and one's Kevin Overton, 6th man for Texas Tech. I said, now you got 20 other in the country. I said, okay, and he hasn't given me a list, but like you go through it, I'm just like, that's what the toughest thing is. These kids are going to get, using Mincy as an example that you just said, he's going to get money thrown at him, but he's not going to get the same opportunity at this next institution as he is with Coach Q right now And what he gets with Coach Q is he gets a little bit more freedom to make some mistakes, to play through and develop through some mistakes, to grow. And that's the benefit of being at an institution 3-4 years. Like Connor Enright and Tucker DeVries that transferred from us, they're third-year guys. They're going in their 4th year. I can live. You can kind of live with that a little bit more. You know, in the portal space a little bit. You get it as a coach, as a smaller college coach. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get your roster poached. Like I'm already getting guys. I had agents at my last game trying to poach some more guys.
Yeah.
And
I see that coming.
It is what it is. And you know the thing that you know, like I talk to my team about this. You have to understand who you're dealing with, what is actually the number, and is that number actually real? And then understand when that number they give you, you're gonna, depending on the tax bracket, the higher the number, the higher tax bracket you are in, that means more money comes out. If you're in a $100,000 tax bracket, you're probably gonna get anywhere from 22 to 27% of your money taken out. You go with that 200.
And I'm sure they don't understand.
They don't understand that.
No,
But that's part of my job as a coach is to educate these young men. And then you have to educate them. Okay, who's ever helping you is fine. Is how much is that agent? You know, college basketball. It's in college football. It's crazy. The agents are charging them 15 to 20%. An NBA agent charges you 3%. So
you
now
get the agent fee and you get the taxes, and then you start that pile is starting to go down.
Yes. So like I went through it with my team the other day because we had a free weekend, so I kind of did some life lessons teaching deals on Friday, just on money and different things that you're going to run into in life. You know what I mean? Like you're just not thinking about. And I went through that scenario, that exact scenario I just talked with you about, Coach. And it's good because they had no idea. They didn't know. And why would they know? Because their mom and dad had paid their taxes the entire life. You know, they're depending on them. They don't know.
Paying rent, paying electricity,
yes.
All
that. They don't understand that. And that's the thing that, you know, as a college coach, you got to win games. You do. But you also have to win in life. Like you got to teach them those things. They got to know that, hey, when they graduate from here, at least they don't have bills they have to pay back to the institution.
Right.
But they're going to have their car payment, they're going to have their phone, they're going to have electricity, they're going to have gas, they're going to have water, they're going to have apartment.
And if they own a house or something like that, they're going to have property tax.
You got property tax. And you just want to, like, I wasn't taught that when I was coming out through. And, you know, my college coach is awesome. I talk to him every day still. And that was something that I now got into coaching. That's what I want to make sure they're aware of. In the long term, can help them.
So, but I couldn't coach today with the things like that. And I'm going to tell you, it's filtering down to high schools.
Oh, it is.
And there was a case right here in Spartanburg County where a high school athlete got paid $30,000 in a new car to transfer to go play in another high school. It was not basketball, it was another sport.
Yeah.
And which just packed up. And as a coach, you know, this kid, the coaches, his high school coaches had invested in him since he was in third grade.
Yeah.
Coached him and get him to that position. And these kids, there's no loyalty. They take the money and run.
Well, you know, you can't, like, I say this, like, you can't get mad at them. Because some kids come from, they don't, that right there is going to be the most money he made. I don't know. You know what I mean? And the one thing that I hope, you know, our landscape of college basketball, I hope they do this, is I hope that 3 to 5 years study, not just me doing my own study or Coach Q doing his own study at Presbyterian and Coach Huss at High Point. You know, they come out with statistical studies showing these kids where they transfer to and how they've accomplished in life. Because where do you now go? This is what I always say to kids. I said this to Drake for the last 6 years. Where do you go when you transfer from us at Drake, when I was at Drake? Where do you go to show your kids, this is where I went to school, this is where I graduated from, if you went to 4 schools in 4 years? I don't know. I didn't live it. I know it's new air, but where do you go? What do you call home? And that's what kids don't understand yet. Now, hopefully the people that are helping them, hopefully they educate them on that, because that's really important, because that gets you your jobs. That's what gets you, the ball stops bouncing. For every kid, the ball's going to stop bouncing. And when that ball stops bouncing, who can you turn to get you help to get a job? Because everybody needs help getting a job. You don't just get a job by just walking in.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yes. So, like, you hope maybe the last stop you had was a good experience and it could help you. But if it wasn't, and stop number 2 was a good experience, but you left them, what are they willing to help you? And not everybody is.
Okay. Well, we're going to change gears for just a second.
Okay.
We're talking today with Coach Marty Richter, head coach at USC Upstate. We're coming to you live from the Sugar and Spice.
Yeah.
Sugar and Spice has been here since opened the doors in 1961. USC Upstate opened the doors not too long after that.
Was it 65?
It was a little bit later on there. And I'm going to give you a little bit that you can share. If your players ever feel like things are kind of tough and they don't have it well here.
Yeah.
Our first basketball players, we played there, we had no dorms. We stayed, you went down I-85 to Broadmoor Apartments, and the athletes lived off campus in an apartment there.
Okay.
For the ones from out of town that were on a pretty much, we'll say, full ride. I don't think there's such thing as a full ride there, but meals that we had were at a place called Shoney's Restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
You remember Shoney's, big boy?
Oh, Shoney's, man. Shoney's used to be so good. Like, you don't realize, when you were a kid, you're like, oh, man, I can't wait to go to Shoney's.
My wife was always scared of she told me she was scared of the big boy.
Yeah.
But that was where they had 2 choices where you could eat. You could eat there, or the other meal plan was at the Peach Blossom restaurant right down the road.
Oh, yeah. I like that. That's a good little place, man.
There was no on campus eating.
Nothing.
There.
Nothing at all, really.
That was it.
How many buildings were on campus at the time?
There was probably, at the time I was there was an administration building. The library had just been built in the Body Center.
3 buildings.
3 buildings.
How many years did they just have 3 buildings before they started to build the other side of campus? That's, you know what I mean?
It was
it's not
a
the other side,
good
but, like, you know what I mean?
8 or 9 years.
The
next one to come, building after was the one kind of back there. Maybe it's the School of Education there, but there was tennis courts behind there and stuff like that. But one of the most important things that I learned from my studies at USC Upstate was how to get a parking pass. You go to 8 o'clock class that morning there.
You have no chance.
It was cutthroat, but I learned that was one of the biggest things I learned as a student there. I'm gonna tell you how it was too. We did not have enough classrooms, so when you going down Business 85, down past there, on the left-hand side, I think there's a Best Western Motel. Mm-hmm. There was one right next to it that I had an English class in a motel room.
Did you really?
That I remember, yes, that we had, there were classes in there where they put
awesome.
desks in the motel rooms. And I had an 8 o'clock English class, and I will never forget, I was running late, and I was flying down 26, and there was somebody poking along in front of me, and I almost ran them off the road.
That makes me laugh. That's awesome.
I get to the classroom and found out the person I about ran off the road was my professor.
The good thing you didn't run them off the road. Well, you know what? Bad thing, because if you were running them off the road, you would have had class that day.
You're right. But he comes in, the first thing he said, Mr. Cox, I'm glad to see you made it on time.
Oh, yeah.
And he saw that though, but we ended up being pretty good friends with that though. But that was the kind of the things that we did back in the day like that. Our pregame meal was called a brony lad, which we all got stomach aches after we had. It was something like a cheeseburger or some kind of thing that was awful. We went to games in station wagons. And then later, when I was coaching, we moved up to vans that we went in 2 vans, and I drove one of the vans that we had to go to the games in, though. I was the guy in charge of a lot of the road accommodations when I was coaching there, so I had to distribute the meal money.
Oh, that's
and they all pocketed the money and just didn't eat.
Yeah, you know what? That's been going on forever. Kids have always done that.
That was how they got paid.
That's how they got paid. That's exactly right.
So they got $10 from McDonald's. They didn't bother to eat. They stuck that 10 in their pocket. And it was kind of, they found a receipt for somewhere to give me back.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We played in the Hodge Center.
Okay.
That was back there. That has not changed hardly any.
Has the floor always been a parquet floor?
No, it was a tartan floor.
You had a tartan floor.
And we had a lot of injuries on that.
Yeah, I played on a tartan floor.
You could jump off one of those, but you got too good a traction and blown knees and ankles.
Yes.
But it was a tartan floor though.
Yeah, it's like playing on blacktop.
Yeah, it is.
It's softer when you fall in a blacktop, but it's like playing on blacktop. It kills my knees now, that's why I played my college ball as a tartan floor.
Well, that was a big thing back there.
It was,
the Carolina Coliseum, the Frank McGuire, they had the tartan floor. They had the tartan floor down too. They were the first ones to have that at the college level, South Carolina. But we used to come out for conditioning, to start conditioning. I was in the van, and I had to follow behind all of them, but they had to run the Milliken Pond. Well, they would go down out there, cut the frontage road, go back around. They had to do that. And I had to follow behind in the van to make sure there was no stragglers or anybody try to cut across I-85.
You don't want to cut across that. It's like Frogger. You don't want to cut across I-85.
But we had some adventures like that, though. But it was very interesting. I remember, too, the early growing pains. Our colors back then, we were the Rifles. We were purple and white.
Oh, my daughter would love purple. She loves purple.
Well, she would probably love this too, the best of both worlds. We were playing a doubleheader with the Gamecocks. We were playing Coastal Carolina, and then South Carolina after us was playing, I think it was William and Mary.
Okay.
We were in the middle of making a transition. That some of our new green and white stuff are coming in, but not all of it.
Yeah.
So we go down to the Carolina Coliseum and we warm up in purple and white uniform warm-ups and take them off, and they got green and white uniforms on.
It was awesome.
And the budget was so tight that our head coach thought he'd figured this out to be really smart. So he took all the purple and white practice gear and said, hey, I'm going to go home and take it to my wife, and we're going to dye it green. So it will be green and white. Well, when he did that, he didn't think about the purple would stay purple, but the white would be green. And so we had purple and green reversible practice jerseys.
Yeah, it's an incredible hawk in there. That's not bad.
But
that's funny.
That is some of the growing pains that we went through back there in the day, though. So if they ever felt like that they don't have it very good today, that it was kind of the players had to ride the shuttle bus pretty much to go eat, or they didn't have their cars and stuff and all. But it was kind of interesting that back during the time then, I was recruiting Vincent Hamilton that played RS Central. He went and played at Clemson.
Yep.
And I can remember on recruiting visits, I had to try to take them to the Beacon to show them the Big Dance Park, which is this is better right here. But the thing there was we would have had him then, but Clemson got away, had somebody at the last minute transfer, his scholarship opened up, and he went there and was all ACC.
Yeah.
So with that, but it was interesting though. We had some really good players that came in. I worked Coach James Holland and Mike Gibson, Wendell Gibson, and all those guys.
Those guys, and that was a good team. You had good players. You had guys that went on and played professionally and did a good job in their careers.
They played together for a long time.
Yeah.
And that was one of the big things was that they had played together since they were freshmen. So again, James Holland was a coach on the floor out there. And I mean, they knew exactly what to do, what their teammate was thinking and all. That was a fun bunch to coach and sit back and watch play though. So, well, I'm going to get into a couple of quick things. I'm going to let you go right here.
All right.
We're going to throw some questions at you. Let me see which ones I want to save for a later date and see which ones we want to use up today. All right. What was the best piece of advice that anybody has ever given you about coaching basketball?
It would be my college coach always talking about being very simple and being very simplistic and just everything you do. Doesn't matter whatever it is. He was a life coach more than a basketball coach. I always felt like. So he would always say, guys, it doesn't have keep it simple.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, you said it, not me. But that was his line, and it's really that's like no matter what you do, that's the thing. Like you watch my team, they're not real complicated. It's really simple, but it's simple so they can move their feet and not have to think.
What made you want to be a coach?
I started coaching, so I did Little League Baseball when I was in high school, and I did YMCA. So I ran a YMCA. There was a guy named Mark Gallagher that I worked for back in the day, back in Waterloo, Iowa. And he ran the YMCA rec league. It wasn't YMCA, but it was like YMCA. So it was a rec league, and I started coaching when I was a junior in high school. I loved it. And then the next year, I helped run the league and coach a team, just helped run it. And it was fun. And then I got into college, and I'm like, you know what? I want to be a teacher and a coach. Because I had good high school coaches, good junior high coaches. I had good people around my path. And I thought I was going to be a high school coach for the longest time. After about 1 or 2 years in college playing basketball, I did not want to do high school because these high school coaches have to deal with parents right behind the fence yelling at them and telling them to play their son, play their daughter, play with them. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm going to coach college. And that's what I got lucky. I worked with Coach Wilson. First year out of college, I worked for him for 2 years. I worked for Coach Boots and took off from there. I got good opportunities.
Well, I was playing and got down to my last year. That's why I still got my eligibility though. I'm trying to get in shape right around the whole floor for you. But I was playing behind James Holland.
Okay.
And the point guard ahead of me on top of that was the coach's son. Tell me you're going to get a lot of minutes.
You're not going to get a lot of minutes that night.
They were really needing, they did not have an assistant coach. And they were needing an assistant coach. And I got to say, this is really interesting. Well, my first assignment, I guess my first test I was given, they sent me to go out and scout a game. And I scouted. They were called Central Westland. They were Central Westland and Southern Westland. They were defending NAI district champions that got to go to Kansas City and play the year before. So I went down there and I had an 8-page scouting report. I had every tendency. Every time they shot a free throw, they were pressing after that. They tipped off. I knew every play. I knew everything about. Similar to my little thing that I've got on both teams for the Wednesday night broadcast right here, where I've got your team, players, and I've got it right there, and I've got some other notes there. But I put that together. We were still young, that we were a sophomore team then when James and all those guys were. And they came to the Hodge Center and we beat them by 18.
Okay.
To where everything that they had practiced, I sat down with the team. I made copies for every player, 8 pages. They had it down pat. We stopped them, so I immediately moved up a couple chairs on the bench, though. And that kind of got it started from there. And then, you know, I coached with the men. Bill Henson, who was a coach there, that he left, and Jerry Waters came in.
Yep.
And Jerry came in. It's kind of funny. Jerry came in, and the first time he ever saw James and Mike, all those guys, we were sitting up there, and I was telling him about this guy right here, this guy right here. And he got up and looked at me. I thought you told me there were players here. I left better players where I came from. And James and Mike and all them, we all laugh about that. That he said there that he had better players at the University of the South that he left from.
Yeah.
So my last year coaching there was with Title IX coming in.
Yep.
That they basically, the women did not have a paid assistant coach.
Oh.
And so they offered me $2,000 more to go over and help coach the women's team.
Oh, that's cool.
That's my claim to fame. I was the first assistant coach, paid assistant women's coach
that
at
is.
USC Upstate.
That's awesome.
So
That is really neat. I didn't know that was your deal. I didn't know that was your path.
that's how I got with them, that they were really in a bind, and for Title IX, that we were able to do that and get squared away with that.
Yeah, that's really neat. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was your path. That's how you got into coaching.
Yes, that is. And then went from there that I had to go all the way. My next stop after that, I took in the year that I left, Upstate won the national championship. So I would have had the national championship. I've got a ring for being an all-time winningest coach at other place. But when I left there, I was getting married, so I needed a full-time, more paid job. That I had to start at the bottom of the totem pole, coaching middle school girls. So I went from the slam dunks to 2 girls that could make a layup for my next job.
Yeah.
And
what
back
fun
up the ladder. It was.
What fun it had to be just to see, you know, the joy on kids' face when they can start to make layups is so awesome.
Well, we made it to the championship game.
Did you?
We did. We sure did. And so that's kind of what I've been from there along the ladder there, then getting to high school and all that. So I have been in every spectrum. I have been college level, playing national tournament to middle school girls. So I can, and I have been there through the parents sitting behind the bench and carrying on.
And there's nothing wrong. You know, some parents don't mean any harm. It's just that's what they do.
Yep.
But I learned how I was like, Coach Wilson was my college coach. I don't know how these coaches do it. They never get to leave it. Like, you know, as a college coach, you get to go recruit kids, go to their home, get them commit, get them come to you, get to work with them. They leave their mom and dad. You help them grow from 18 to 22. So you help them become a grown-up in their life that they haven't had yet. It's different than their mom and dad. They get to make some good decisions. You don't judge them on it. You're not their parent, but you're going to help them grow. But you don't have to listen. They come to games, but it's not the same. You just don't see them, but you don't see them as much. And it's like, I don't know how high school coaches do it sometimes. Because it's crazy because some of the stuff because they can play a kid one night and not play a kid the next night because of matchups, and that parent could lose his mind and not understand.
And that's one of the things that we'll get into this on another week about my biggest problem I had as a coach was substitution. Because I'd fall in love with those guys that were on the court. They had a point guard that he was retired. He's in the SAC Hall of Fame. He retired at Newberry College in the Hall of Fame. He went to Europe and was played over there very first week. Playing over there was the player of the month over there. The kid was really good. And he's my point guard. Best player I ever coached. And he never came out.
Yeah. Well, you do fall. I mean, as a coach, it's tough. You fall in love with certain guys.
So you don't want to screw it up. If you're playing good together, you don't want to screw it up.
You don't want to screw it up, man. You don't want to mess it up.
All right, last question.
All right.
I'll let you go because I know you got things to do. And here, though, all right, tell me something I need to know for Wednesday night. Give me some stuff that will help us.
What we need to be able to do is we have to guard the basketball better than what we have the last game, because this have to be able to guard in space. We have to be able to do that. Then we have to turn defense into offense. We haven't done that well enough for a 40-minute stretch of the game, and that will help improve our offensive numbers. Those two things, if we can guard the ball better and turn our defense into offense, we will have an opportunity to win the game. But if we come down and have to take the ball out of the net a lot, we're going to struggle. It's tough. The other night we were playing with Winthrop. We're not taking the ball out of the net. In the last 8 minutes, you take the ball out of the net, and you're playing against a set defense. If we can use our speed to our advantage by going defense to offense and beat them down the floor, we'll have a chance. And that's all you want is a chance.
And again, it tells how wacky it is. They get a big win their first game in conference play, and then play Gardner Webb, which surprised me because I saw how well PC had played at South Carolina, and lo and behold, that they're sitting 1-1.
Sitting 1-1. You know, in our league, everybody's one. I mean, UNC Asheville's 1-0. We're 0-1. But everybody is 1-1 in between, and everybody's 1-1 because nobody's 1-0.
And that's the thing that last year, from top to bottom, that I saw anybody in the league can beat anybody.
Yes. It's a coin flip night. I mean, you just have to be able. If you could defend and get easier ones, you can have an opportunity every night. Home or road. That's what you have to do. Your defense has to travel. That's the biggest thing.
Well, hopefully, I've had fun talking with you today.
Coach.
That we're gonna make it fun. That's one thing I can promise. When I coached, we made it fun. We used to turn the lights out back in the 80s when before anybody else did that in the starting line. And all the fun things that we made it fun. The offense we ran, we made it fun to come. That we had the painted section called the dog pound.
There we go.
We were the Bulldogs. So everything I do, whether it's coaching, broadcasting, it's got to be fun.
It's got to be fun.
So I appreciate you coming with us today here. Look forward to calling your game Wednesday night. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Coach. You have a good day.
Thank you. Coach Marty Richter with us here on the Spartans at the Spice. Make sure you get a chance to come out to the game on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, Hodge Center, USC Upstate PC. I remember we played PC back the days that I coached. That's been a long time rivalry.
This has been a game that has been going on for a long time. Exactly right.
It's going to be a good one. I tell you, we've had some barn burners over the years. It'll be a good one. It'll be well worth your time to come see. Till then, we'll see you